The Detroit Lions blew a golden opportunity to get one step closer to winning the NFC North for the first time with the loss to the Chicago Bears in brutal fashion. The offense didn't show up, and the defense does what they do best and not stop anyone. So that is how that is. You got to hold teams to 3 points more than you hold them to 7. But even with that being said, the fan base went from 9-3 and everything's going to be okay to the sky is falling, you're set on fire, and you're jumping off a cliff all at the same time. And I'm here to tell you that the Detroit Lions are not only going to make the playoffs, but they are going to win the division. And we're doing this a little early this week, and I'll probably follow it back up in a different scenario later this week. But from what I understand, the Detroit Lions can secure a playoff berth with a win, and I think the right number of things happening. There's only a few other things that have to happen for the Detroit Lions to secure a playoff spot in the postseason tournament. So that's something that we don't have to worry about. Of course, we need to win. So that is a thing. And I think that the Detroit Lions are going to do that. They haven't lost 2 in a row in over 14 months. Dan Campbell said in his press conference today that Sean Payton is going to try to embarrass them and that he will have the team ready. So I believe him that we haven't lost because we haven't lost 2 games in a row. And it seems like the Lions do get their stuff together after a loss. So I think that's going to happen. But in addition to that, it's going to be a situation where the Lions can control their own destiny. Something they blew the opportunity last year with a loss to the Carolina Panthers in week 16. They have an opportunity very similar this season. Here's what needs to happen for the Detroit Lions to secure the NFC North. We needed to win yesterday. That didn't happen. The Minnesota Vikings, we needed them to lose. That didn't happen. Probably the worst game of the year, 3-0. If that's a team we can't beat, there is a problem. So we need to win against the Denver Broncos. So the division title will not only not be clinched at Ford Field, it can't even be won in week 16. However, if we go to the rest of the 2 teams, if the Green Bay Packers lose tonight, Monday Night Football, week 14 against the New York Giants, which Tyrod Taylor has been cleared to play. So that is a plus for the New York Giants, and they're going to be at home. If the Green Bay Packers lose that game, that takes them off the table. They're no longer somebody we need to worry about. If the Detroit Lions can win against the Denver Broncos, but we still need a loss to happen. So the magic number for the Detroit Lions is 3 wins. That secures an NFC North title. But we can also win less than that and have some help by the Minnesota Vikings and Green Bay Packers losing. Okay, so look for that in week 14, a Green Bay Packers loss. Now we're going to skip and go to week 15. We need if the Green Bay Packers somehow win, we still need a loss next week. We then need a Minnesota Vikings loss next week as well. If that happens and we win against the Denver Broncos, when we play the Minnesota Vikings in week 16, it will be for the division. No matter what the Green Bay Packers do, as long as they've lost the game before then, no matter what the Minnesota Vikings do, because we will have played them. And not only do we get a win, but we put them back a half game behind us as well. So it might be a little convoluted, a little confusing, but if I narrow it down, it's simply this. The Lions must win 2 games, and the Green Bay Packers and Minnesota Vikings must lose at least 1. If that happens, the Lions can secure the division. But they dropped the ball yesterday, and they blew an opportunity to potentially win the division at home. Now, the sad thing is, with the Minnesota Vikings winning that ugly game yesterday, that would have pushed the division win until Sunday, waiting for the outcome of those games on Sunday. We still couldn't have popped the confetti at Ford Field, which is the whole thing, the whole reason I wanted to go. So I know it's weird with me talking you off a ledge, but I'm not worried. I'm not worried that the Lions aren't going to make the playoffs and win the division. Now, when they get there, that's a whole different thing. If they can't turn this thing around, they might be none and done. Not one and done, none and done. They might be this year's version of the Minnesota Vikings. And the crazy thing about it is we're shaping up for the same thing. We are right now, the best we could be is 13-4, right? Best thing we could be. We're kind of trending 12-5, 11-6. If the Lions go 11-6 after starting 8-2, that means that they will have gone 3-4 in their last 7 games. Heading into the playoffs under 500, not the best time to be going into the playoffs. Now, last year, when the Detroit Lions were 8-2 in their last 10, that's a team you don't want to see. Because in the postseason, it is one and done. That's it. You don't win, you lose one time, you're done until there is a Super Bowl champion crown. So, Lions fans, I'm good when it comes to the overall picture of whether or not they'll make the playoffs or not. I truly believe that it's going to happen. We will do both those things. We got off to a great lead and a great start. And same thing with the Minnesota Vikings last year, that they had enough of a cushion that they were able to secure the division earlier in well before the season was over. If you remember, when we played them at Ford Field, they had a chance to clinch that day. We stopped that from happening. Then they wind up clinching when they came back against the Indianapolis Colts from the biggest lead or comeback in NFL history. So the Lions blew the opportunity to at least win at home and wait on the outcome of Sunday week 15 games, and they pushed it to week 16. And every single time the Lions lose, you push it back a week, right? So if the Lions lose this week, then they're going to push it back. There may be a way, because I didn't do the math, there may be a way that we lose to the Denver Broncos and beat the Minnesota Vikings in week 16 and be able to clinch with the win, even if we lose on this Saturday. So I haven't done the math yet, but I just wanted to calm everybody down. We're going to win the division. We are going to get to the playoffs. Two things that we have not done in a long time. Ever for the division, we haven't been to the playoffs in 7 years, and we have never, ever hosted a playoff game at Ford Field. So I am okay when it comes to that. Now, the team and the overall health, as far as where this team is headed, that's a different conversation. But Dan Campbell said he's going to have them ready. And again, we have not lost 2 in a row for 15 months. So I believe that Dan Campbell's going to have these guys ready. We're going to be back at Ford Field. Russell Wilson is not Justin Fields, but he can hurt us regardless. And it's going to be on the whole team to get this thing together. The last time the Lions were at home, they lost. So I think that they're going to come out and they're going to be about business and get back in the win column. So just settle down, everybody. We're going to be fine when it comes to, and I'm not a guy of we're 9-4, so we'll be fine. But when it comes to how this thing is going to go for the playoffs, I do think we'll be fine. After we get there, I can't tell you what happens. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Where are you at? Are you on team we're not going to win another game? Are you on team we're okay? Or are you on team, you know what, we'll get there, but we might not do anything once we get there? Let me know in the comments below. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions.